welcome to day 4 of Move for Mind. So today we're going to build on what we did yesterday, which was starting to find that flexibility in the hamstrings. But today we're going to move into like a bit more dynamic movement and some standing postures as well. So grab a couple of blocks if you might need them, your mat, and we're ready to go. So we're going to begin standing today. Finding Tadasana at the top of the mat, so either bringing the feet hips distance apart or toes together, heels slightly apart. And again, just really taking a moment to set up your foundation here. So maybe taking a couple of circles with the feet, clockwise and anti-clockwise, just to really find those 4 corners of the feet and your centre of gravity in the middle of them. Firming the legs up, so firming the calves, the thighs, tucking that navel into the spine, extending the spine long, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae. Inhaling the shoulders up and away from the ears, spiralling the fingertips to the front of the room. And then it's almost as if someone is pulling a string from the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Maybe just make sure you're tucking the chin back. Then I invite you to either close the eyes or soften the gaze here. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more like this, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just giving yourself a few moments here to arrive onto the mat, arrive into the space. And really let yourself to let go of any baggage that you might have brought into this space. As for the duration of this class, this time, this space is about you. It's about your body, it's about your mind, it's about your breath. There is nowhere else that you need to be, and nothing else that you need to be doing. So really giving yourself that permission of this time to focus on yourself. Taking another deep breath in through the nose. And out through the mouth. And opening the eyes with a soft gaze, maybe even a smile. And inhaling, both arms come up above the head, taking hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Inhale, extend the arms higher. Exhale, reaching over to the right, really sending the hips out towards the left. Inhale, coming back through center. Taking hold of the right wrist with the left hand. Again, inhale, lift up. Exhale, lengthen over the left side, really sending those right hips over to the right, turning the ribs up towards the sky. Inhale, coming back into center, maybe taking a slight back bend. For exhale, bending the knees and folding over the legs. And keeping quite a deep bend in the knees, as it's our first one. Inhale, hands to shins, looking up halfway and lengthening. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping the right foot to the back of the mat, right knee lowers. Inhale, both arms coming up, finding that low lunge, that Anjaneyasana. Exhale, bringing hands to the mat, tucking those back toes under. Left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. Inhale, high onto the balls of the feet, rippling forward with the spine to find your high plank. Exhale, lowering knees down. Chin and chest come to the ground, really hugging those triceps in towards the rib cage. Inhale, peeling through, finding your cobra. Exhale, pushing up and back to child's pose. Then either staying here or finding downward facing dog. And just taking a moment, maybe bending one knee and then the other. Just finding that length in the back of the body. Waking up the body. Really finding that stable foundation in the hands, pushing each and every finger and the thumb down into the ground, palms down into the ground, lengthening the spine, shoulders away from ears. Coming into that stillness when you're ready. And next, inhale, the right leg lifts, coming high onto the ball of the back foot, bending the right knee, coming into a tiny bowl, knee to nose. Then stepping right foot in between palms, lowering left knee down. Inhale, both arms come up, finding that low lunge, that Anjaneyasana. Exhale, bringing both hands to the front of the mat. Stepping left foot in to meet right. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to shins. Exhale, fold. Now keeping a bend in the knees now, so your belly is coming to your thighs. Then taking your first 2 fingers and thumb around the big toe. You want your feet to be about hips distance apart. Then inhale, lengthen through the chest, finding that length in the spine. Exhale, bending the elbows, bringing the belly to the thighs, crown of the head down. And then maybe from here starting to straighten the legs. But if you're super bendy, that's fine. You can have deep bend in the knees. Not compromising that belly coming away from the knees. So as low as it takes, and then tilting that tailbone up. Inhale, elbows out to the side. And exhale. Inhale, lifting up halfway and lengthening. Exhale, bringing hands to waist. Inhale, coming all the way up into standing, releasing the hands, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, bringing both arms up, gaze is lifted. Exhale, hinging and folding over the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, planting the hands and stepping the left foot back. Left knee lowers to mat. Inhale, arms up, coming into low lunge, Anjanasana. Exhale, planting the hands, tucking those back toes under, right foot back to meet left, and downward facing dog. Inhale, high onto the balls of the feet, then really ripple through the spine, like away from your tailbone, all the way up to your shoulders to find yourself in high plank. Exhale, lowering the knees down, bending the elbows as the chin and chest comes to the ground. Inhale, coming forward, finding that low cobra. Exhale, seat to heels, and either staying here or coming up into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So again, if your heels are away from the floor, that's absolutely fine. It took me about 3 years to get my heels down. Flexibility is a skill that you learn over time, unless you're one of those very lucky people that was born flexible and stayed flexible. I was not. So really finding that stability and structure in the body, not pushing yourself too far, but not becoming lazy either. So really pushing down with the hands to find yourself pushing those hips back, that tailbone coming up towards the sky. How much length can you find in your spine? And you can either keep the gaze lifted, looking directly down to the floor, finding that extension of the neck, or you can lower the head, looking between the knees. Really, it's a personal preference, depending how your neck feels. Inhale, and exhale. Next, inhale, that left leg is going up to the sky, high on the ball of the right toes, then bringing that left knee to the nose. And then with control, stepping left foot in between the palms. If it takes a couple of steps to get there, no problem. Right knee lowers. Inhale, both arms lift, finding Anjanasana, low lunge. Exhale, bringing both hands to the mat. Right foot in to beat left. Inhale, looking up halfway and lengthening, straight through the spine. Exhale and fold. And again, taking a nice deep bend in the knees, so your belly is on the thighs. We're going to stand on our feet now. So bringing the palm, the top of the hand down to the floor, and you want to be stepping on your hand so that the toes are going into the wrist crease. Kind of giving yourself a little wrist massage. And you're doing this with both feet. Then inhale, lengthen and extend. Exhale, bend the elbows outwards as you start to fold over the legs, bringing the crown of the head to the floor. And again, keep as much of a bend in the knees as you need here. Work towards straightening through the legs, but keeping the belly on the thighs. Inhale, maybe lengthening and releasing. Exhale, fold. Best step, this was hamstrings. Lengthen, exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, bringing hands to the hips. Inhale, coming all the way up to stand. Exhale, releasing hands either side of the body, finding your Tadasana. Then either bringing big toes to touch, heels slightly apart, or you can keep the the feet hips distance apart. We're coming into our Utkatasana, our chair pose. So inhale, just grazing the floor with your fingertips and bringing the hands up, sinking the hips down, finding that chair, that Utkatasana. Now a cheeky little self-assist you can do at home. Just bringing the hands to the thighs and pushing your hands down into your thighs. And just notice what that does with your tailbone. So basically, if we kind of pop in like this, yeah, we don't want that. You kind of want that engagement through the core as the tailbone is coming down as an extension of your spine. Shoulders down and away from the ears. So when you have that stability, that grounding, that structure here, maybe inhaling the arms lift. Hello, thighs. Now with the arms, making sure the arms aren't coming back so far that you're compromising the spine, bringing the arms forward so we're maintaining that length in the spine. One more inhale here, can you sink a little bit lower? Exhale, hinging and folding over the legs, straightening the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, long and straight spine. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping the right foot back, stepping the left foot back, coming into your plank. Lowering the knees down, an option to come through chaturanga with the knees down here. So rooting through the hands, elbows above wrists, shoulders above elbows. Now here we're going to lean forward first, engaging through the core, then bending the elbows straight back behind you, keeping them in towards the rib cage, coming to the point where you're getting that 90-degree angle and pausing. Can you hold here? Inhale, peeling through, finding that cobra. Exhale, seat to heels, hips to sky, downward facing dog. Or staying in that child's pose for a few breaths, if that feels like where you need to be today. But wherever you are, seeing if you can lengthen the breath, seeing if you can come back to the sensations of the body. If you are in that child's pose, pressing up, meeting us in downward dog. And inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, high onto the ball of the left toes, bringing the right knee to the nose. Inhale, extending back into three-legged dog. Exhale, high onto the ball of the left toes, knee to nose. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, bringing that knee to the nose. Then stepping right foot in between the palms. Lowering left foot down, and you're at a 45-degree angle here. Inhale, bringing the arms up, finding Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Bringing hands to the hips first. So just checking out what you're doing with your feet. You might need to move the right toe slightly to the edge of the mat. I certainly do, just so there's room for my hips really. So just make sure you're comfortable and stable. And then that back foot, you're really pushing in through the back outer edge of that back foot, strong and engaged through this left leg. And then with your hands on the hips, maybe just pushing slightly down with your thumbs so we know that we're not popping the butt. Bringing the butt down. This is not the place for a pop butt. Just be aware what you're doing with your ribs as well. If the ribs are flaring out, knit them in. And then if this structure feels safe and stable, inhale, the arms lift. And again, if you've been doing this pose for a long time, you might be able to bring the hands into prayer above the head, but not if you're hunching the shoulders up. Otherwise, bringing the hands in front of the face and looking at that point in between the hands. It's like you're holding on to, well, you can hold on to a brick if you wish. Inhaling here. Exhaling here, maintaining that integrity in the core. Inhaling. Exhale, taking the interlace of the hands behind the back, bringing the palms together if you can. If this feels icky, taking hold of opposite elbows. But if you do have that interlace, bringing the arms back, shoulders back, and it's almost as if a weight is attached to the palms here, bringing the palms down. But again, make sure we're not flaring the hips, keeping that strong integral core that we already built. And then just walking that right foot to the edge of the mat now. Inhale, opening the chest, gaze lifts. Exhale, hinging and folding, bringing the right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. Now, as you've done this, make sure the hips haven't swung open. We're not looking for warrior 2 in the legs. Make sure you're squaring the shoulders to the top of the mat. That right hip is going back as that left hip is going forward. You might be receiving some feedback in the legs here. So if you can bring the wrists further away from the body, and you can either stay looking towards the top of the mat or the crown of the head can come down. But again, really keeping that structure in the hips, in the core. Inhale. You got this. Exhale. Inhale, releasing the arms, and then walking the palms so they're going in a diagonal away from the body out towards the left top corner of the mat. Now you are opening the hips more slightly here. We've moved the shoulders. What the shoulders do, the hips do. So then really pushing into the ground, sending the hips back. Hello. So it's almost a bit like a crab-like downward dog. It's like a crabby dog. I'm going to call it crabby dog. Inhale, really extending through the spine. Exhale, pivoting to turn all the way to the long edge of the mat. Turning those toes in. Then inhaling, halfway lift. Again, we can use the blocks here. Exhale, fold. So really just using the blocks if the floor feels like it's a very long way away. If you do have the space, maybe bringing the hands down. Inhale, exhale, walking the hands in line with the feet, bringing the crown of the head down towards the mat. Now if this feels really easy and you're not getting into the hamstrings much at all, walk the feet in a bit, make it more of a challenge. But keeping those shoulders down and away from the ears. Inhale. Exhale, making sure the weight is more in the balls of the feet. And trust yourself here. Inhale, finding new space in the body. And exhale. Inhale, looking up halfway. If you have moved the feet inwards, you might need to move them slightly out for this. Exhale, bending into that left leg as we extend the right leg out, right toes up to the sky, Skandasana. So you might need to stay higher here, you might need to be on the ball of that left foot, just making it accessible for you. If you need to stay with the blocks here, stay with the blocks. Anyway, you are maybe planting that left hand down, inhaling the right arm lifts, gaze to the sky. Exhale, coming to Skandasana at the top of the mat. Just doing a little spider walk with the fingers. Left leg is straight, left toes up to sky, right hand plants. Inhale, look up to left hand. Exhale, bringing that left hand down, facing the top of the mat, stepping back into your plank. Lowering the knees down, and either coming through knees, chin and chest, or again finding that chaturanga. So setting up with the strong arms. Then exhale, leaning the weight forward first, keeping the gaze beyond the top of the mat as you lower the elbows, keeping the core engaged and in control, finding that halfway point, pause. Inhale, coming through cobra. Exhale, child's pose. And just maybe taking a few breaths here. I like to roll the forehead from side to side. Just taking any tension that might have come up and letting it go. It's done. It's over. A little pause here. Stay here for longer if you wish, or get ready to do the other side. Coming up into downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha, finding your posture, finding your stillness, finding your reset, and inhaling the left leg lifts. Coming high onto the ball of the right foot, bending the left knee, knee to nose. Exhale. Inhale and extend. Three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. I can't remember how many we've done, so we'll do one more. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, high, high, high onto the ball of that right foot. Tucking in that knee to the nose. Can you be a teeny tiny ball? Before with control, landing that left foot up at the top of the mat. Lowering the right heel down. Finding that stability in the feet before we inhale. Coming up, finding Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Again, bringing the hands to the hips here. And checking out where you're at with your feet. You want your knee above your ankle. And you should be able to see the big toe in front of you. as that knee tracks over the pinky toe. Back foot really pushing in with the back outer edge of that back foot. That right leg is long and strong and straight. Hands to hips, hips are square to the front of the mat. And just bringing, maybe just using the thumbs to encourage the tailbone down. Ribs are not flaring, butt is not booty popping. Tight and in control. And inhale, maybe the arms lift. Gaze in between the hands. Inhaling here. Exhaling here. Can you find that strength, that stability in the core? And finding that long line of energy from the back outer edge of the back foot all the way out to the fingertips. One more inhale here. Exhale, interlacing the hands around the back, but taking the opposite, so the one that feels a bit icky, that doesn't feel right, bringing the palms together. Inhale, opening the chest up. And again, it's like you've got a weight attached to your hands, so it's dropping right down. Keeping that core engaged, then walking that left foot out towards the left side of the mat. Inhale, look up, gaze is lifted. Exhale, finding our humble warrior. Left shoulder to the inside of the left knee. And again, just be really wary. Are your hips swinging out here? We don't want open hips. You want to bring your shoulders square to the top of the mat. That right hip is coming forward as that left hip is going back. Gaze can either be to the top of the mat, or you can bring the crown of the head down towards the mat. Personally, I like to look towards the top of the mat. It helps me square through the hips. Inhale. Exhale, keeping that bend in the front knee. One more inhale here. Exhale, releasing that interclasp and just walking the hands in a diagonal off the mat, so off the right top hand corner of the mat. Again, now we can open the hips slightly, but really pushing in with the hands to send the hips back, shoulders away from the ears, finding that length in the spine. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, walking the hands in and spinning to find our prasarita, facing the long edge of the mat. So again, inhale, look up halfway and lengthen. And if you like, you can take the same variation as we did before, or maybe this time taking the first two fingers and thumb around the big toe. Find that inhale and lengthen. Exhale, sending the elbows out as the crown of the head comes towards the mat. Forward fold. Really sending that tailbone skyward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. One more inhale here. One more exhale here. Inhale, coming up halfway and lengthening. Exhale, bending the knee at the back of the mat. The other leg is strong, planting that hand down. Inhale, extend. Exhale, maybe taking a ninja to Skandasana on the other side. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, planting both hands and stepping back into your plank. Bringing the knees down and either coming straight into child's pose, or if you do want to take one more vinyasa, bringing the weight forward, finding that chaturanga on the exhale. Inhale is your cobra. Exhale is your child's pose. Maybe just rolling the forehead from side to side here. Allowing the body to slow down, allowing the breath to slow down. Inhale, walking yourself up. And coming to lying down on your back. Hugging knees into chest. And then taking a happy baby as our final pose. So taking hold of the outside of the feet, elbows come to the inside of the legs. Finding that happy baby, maybe straightening through one leg and then straightening through the other. Almost like you're pressing your feet on the ceiling. And when you're ready, finding your way down into Shavasana. If you do want to take any final postures before closing, please feel free to do so. Maybe a twist. And finding your place in your Shavasana, allowing the legs to be long on the mat, unless you've got a twitchy back, then bringing the soles of the feet to the mat. Hands can be on the belly, hands can be either side of the body. But wherever you are, taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, let, out through the mouth, go. And really just sending a moment of gratitude or thanks to your body for being able to practice today. Sending a moment of gratitude and thanks to yourself to showing up for practice today. It's not a small thing. Now I will leave you here. If you do have the time for a longer Shavasana, I strongly encourage that you take it. Otherwise, I thank you so much for your energy and for joining me for practice. Namaste.